number one on the list, again, it's not a great list, let's be honest. But again, the 14th roster spot, you want a guy who's a really good cultural fit. And there's no doubt that the Warriors lost something in that regard when Juan Toscano-Anderson departed for the Lakers last offseason. So we know who Juan Toscano-Anderson is. We know what he brings to the table. Again, I think he's a perfect fit because I've said it previously that the Warriors they obviously need front court depth, and if it's not a center, they need a guy who can play the 3 or the 4. But they also need a guy who's not going to demand minutes over Jonathan Kuminga, and that's the issue with some of these more high-profile, bigger name, small forward, power forward free agents. So you talk about your Kelly Oubre Juniors, who the Warriors aren't going to bring back, but just that's a name. Even a Rudy Gay, who's now going to be available after getting waived by the OKC Thunder. Like that guy, that kind of caliber of player could come in and say, look, I really want to play 15, 20 minutes. And for the Warriors, that's a situation where they should probably say, no, we believe in Jonathan Kuminga. We want him to have a full runway here to develop. And you don't want a guy coming in that's, one, going to potentially stall his development, but two, bring chemistry issues when they're not actually playing and they're out of the rotation and they're kind of pouting because of that. JTA is not going to bring any of those issues. He's not going to demand minutes ahead of Jonathan Kuminga, although there was a time in 2021-22 where JTA was actually getting minutes over JK, who was obviously in his rookie season, and I vividly remember getting frustrated at that. I'm sure a lot of fans remember getting frustrated at that element. Kuminga kind of went past him as the season progressed. But JTA is a guy that's going to bring those vibes, hopefully, back to the Warriors that were missing so much last season. And I think the departure of him and Gary Payton II really affected that. And then obviously what happened in training camp, which has been well documented. You know what I'm talking about there. Is he going to be a guy who Steve Kerr is going to be putting out on the floor on a regular basis? No, I don't think so. However, I don't think that I do think that you can put him out there for 5-10 minutes every so often when there is a couple, whenever Draymond is out resting one night or he's in foul trouble or something like that. Then JTA is a guy I think that you can put out there for 5-10 minutes here and there. And I don't think it's going to be an absolute disaster. He's got an experience in the Warrior system. He's a willing passer. He knows how to get the ball to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So I do think out of this 6 group, I think he's clearly the best option, at least on that 14th roster spot. Now, if they don't pick JTA, then I'd be happy with them having Giles as a 2-way contract. But I'd be disappointed if it was anyone but JTA. And I don't think JTA is an exciting option by any means. No one here on this list is an exciting option. But I do think that at least he brings a cultural fit. He brings an experience with the Warriors. And he brings some insurance where I don't think he's going to be a complete disaster if he plays 5-10 minutes here and there. I think he shot under 20% from 3-point range last season. That's been the big thing that's kind of fell off for JTA. Going back to that 2020-21 season, where I think he played 53 games or something like that, he got converted to a standard contract from a 2-way, and part of that was because I think he was shooting high 30%, close to 40% from 3-point range. That has completely dropped off. As I said, I think he was close to under 20. I know he was under 20 in his stint with the Jazz towards the end of last season after he got traded by the Lakers. So that's the thing that he's got to try and rediscover, because if you can rediscover that, like he's athletic. He had a couple of massive dunks for the Warriors over his time, a couple of posters. He's not a great defender, but he'll hustle and he'll work hard defensively, which is half the battle, especially during the regular season. And he'll give he's got heart. And again, that's what you want in the regular season, is someone that's going to go out there, give 110% and really fight and scrap for all the minutes they can get, which is what JTA will do. Like, I don't think JTA is going to come in and say, well, I'm just not going to play. I'm here just for a cultural fit. Like, he'll try and earn minutes. I just don't think he's necessarily going to be getting that over the likes of Kuminga and Moody, and I don't see him pouting about that. I think he's going to be a great cultural fit if he was to get picked on that on the roster as that 14th roster spot. So